Hello, it's Caroline at For the Love of Crochet, and today's video is all about hooking up with books. Now, if you are new here, Cassandra at Craftably Ever After and we love to read books as well as crochet and get craft. We have this crochet along that we read a book, and then based off that reading, what we make based off our inspiration from that reading. And just to recap, from Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Bachman, I made The Rat from one of my Ami books because that plays a main character. Well, it plays a good character in that book. And then Where the Crawdads Sing, I made the main character, which is a little doll that I got off Etsy, a pattern I got off Etsy. And today's video is all about The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, the Agatha Christie novel. And that is our big reveal day. And I have 4 finished objects from that book. Now, one of them I will be happy to share with you is this rose bookmark. So I just put it in this book here, and here it is. So you make this, and then you can like flip out the edges. You could probably even starch it. So it's a rosebud. Now flowers play a role in the movie. I believe someone is a gardener, and also I just thought this brought out the color from the novel, the front cover. I had a hard time with this book. This is not my cup of tea, per se. Tea is in this book. Hot chocolate is in this book. I went with this bookmark, and I found this tutorial off of YouTube. It's very easy to follow. I would call it a 2-day process, only because you make each piece. You make each petal and then individually sew them together. I know there's a lot of flower tutorials out there, but this one was a request actually, and it fit perfectly with my book. So here it is. I have this flower in her hair, and then hangs out at the bottom. And then there's 2 leaves on the bottom. So I have actually made 4 of these. This was my first one. And notice I did not sew it correctly. The center is more out than the rest of the petals. So this was my first one, and I learned from my mistakes. Then I did this pink one and another red one. Very beautiful for Valentine's Day, but also for Mother's Day. If you have a reader in your family, I think this would be a lovely bookmark for them. This is so pretty. These are so pretty as bookmarks, or in a little dish like so. I don't have a little, those ooey yogurt cups, those ooey yogurt glass cups. That's another thing that I made with the books. I forgot which book this went with, but if you have these little ooey jars and then you put these little roses inside, how beautiful would that be? It would be really cute to repurpose that jar. So here's another one that I made from, I think, hooking up with books. I want to say it was Britt Marie Was Here because she has plant pots, and so I made this plant pot. One to represent me and one to represent Craftably Ever After, which was a bear, but mine didn't look like a bear. And the final thing, the biggest thing that I made is one of the characters from the novel that is supposed to be, it's a murder mystery and it's a whodunit. And one of them is the Parlor Maid, right? And she also has a love interest in the story of the missing person, and just a big mystery. So I made the Parlor Maid in bunny form. Of course, right? Oh, I think it's so cool. Okay, again, having problems with the clothing to fit properly. This is a 4-weight acrylic yarn, and it's a very sturdy yarn that I was gifted. And I thought, the same one that I used for my Bunny Wonderland up there. I like working with this. It's a very sturdy yarn. It has great definition. Now, this designer is the same designer behind a bear pattern I did that I loved so much, and it was this one right here. He had blue pants, little blue overalls. I loved the shaping of that bear, and I love the shaping of this bunny. You can tell she has some chubby cheeks. And then her shoes. So she's the parlor maid. When I saw this, I don't know why I picked it up. I think it was because of the clothing. And I squeezed this one at last minute. And this is the next bunny pattern. Just so adorable. This is by Crochet Lovers on Etsy. And this pattern is very cheap right now. I want to say it's like $1. I'll put it right here. But I had a lot of problems with the pattern. I had a hard time reading it. Now it could be just me, or I did contact the designer, and she was extremely helpful, extremely nice, and I have no regrets. But just know that I had problems, and we'll leave it at that. But as cheap as it is, it's worth it. It's worth it, especially if you love this pattern. I went with a 3.25 hook on this, and I went with a 5mm hook on this because it was a DK weight, a number 3 or number 2. And I was going down on yarn because I was having a hard time with my clothes being too big. So I decided to drop the yarn and up the hook to give it that more drape. Well, the clothing, if I followed the pattern, would have only been this tall. And so all of 1, 2, 3, 4, I did 4 treble crochets to get the length that I needed that was not added in the pattern. So just keep that in mind when you're purchasing. I blushed the cheeks. This was all part of the pattern. It's so gorgeous. All of this was part of the pattern. So I'm very happy with this, and she represents the Parlor Maid, and I don't remember her name, but it's a whodunit mystery novel. So if you've read Agatha Christie, do you think she fits that? And you know what? They had a character named Caroline that was extremely nosy, and I thought I was wanting to make something like her, but I just could not connect with that character. She was not a fun character. So anyway, so those are my makes for the Hooking Up with Books. Now I had 2 entries. One is from a viewer named Pamela. She's on Instagram, and she also leaves comments in the description boxes. And she made this lovely item, this lovely project to represent not only the love interest that's in this novel, but time, of course, plays a huge role in the investigation. And I just love that she picked this. Now, she originally wanted to pick, I want to say it's a cucumber, but I could be wrong. Because she's from the UK and they call it something else. And I was like, I think that's a cucumber. But anyway, I really love that she made this item. Now, she really wanted to make a grandfather clock, but she's like, do I really want to get into it that much? No. So she decided to go with this one. And doesn't it fit perfectly with Valentine's and the time? So that is awesome. And then this next entry is by another lovely viewer, and she made a cup of hot cocoa because someone in this novel drinks hot cocoa, and one of the characters looks like this, and look at that mustache and the detail she did. Okay, I have one more final entry and I'll plug it in right here. This was sent to me right after I filmed my video, and this is by a viewer who will soon be starting a YouTube channel. Anyway, this one wanted to be anonymous, and I'm sure I'll be chatting with her very soon as she starts her own YouTube channel. I just love how everyone picked some type of aspect of the novel and created their own project. And you can too. So our next novel is going to be, I forgot the name of it. So our next novel is going to be this one, and there's also a film about it. So if you don't watch the movie, if you don't want to read the book, you can also watch the movie and then crochet something based off that novel. Like you said, you can take anything from the book. There is flowers mentioned in this novel, and this color represented the book cover that I had. The red was in it, so I went with that. And then, of course, the Parlor Maid. I made a bunny Parlor Maid. So, and then look at, someone pulled out a cup of tea, a cup of cocoa, and also the time and the clock. It's just so cool how creative we can get with our crochet to represent something we have read. So with this novel, let's see what you can come up with. We will be starting that now, and then our reveal will be March 15th. So the reveal day will be March 15th, but I need your photos a couple of days in advance because I like to film a couple of days in advance. So I can add your photo. Make sure to send it to me a couple of days. Give me a couple of days. All right. If you want to take a closer look at those other projects I made based off the books we read. And then also check out Craftably Ever After's videos. She also made stuff, and her Brit Marie project is, it will blow your mind. So go ahead and give that a check out too. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.